Welcome to Firebranded Inner Circle Edition. Yes, you're wondering what the hell is the Inner Circle Edition? Well, let me clue you in as I fade that music out. Yes, sir. This is recorded May 15th in the year of our Lord 2026. Let me tell you the lowdown. So you are getting this primarily as free subscribers to firebranded.fm. You're part of my inner circle, stuff that I want to offer you exclusively, stuff sometimes that I want to share with you just between me and you, things that I don't want on the public stage. I just want to say those things, share those things backstage. This is one of those pieces. This is one of those pieces of exclusive commentary that I give to you as sort of as a member benefit. It's not necessarily something I don't want on the public stage, but it's just something that I'm just going to share that with my inner circle. Okay, talking about some very interesting things going on, or that went on at a Vatican synod, attacking, if you ask me, practically open attacking Courage International. I'll get into all that in just a second. Let me just clue you in. Some of you listening to this are thinking, but I'm not part of TJ's inner circle. I'm not part of the inner circle of the Catholic Firebrand. I have not signed up for a free membership at Firebranded.fm. I'm just getting this on the regular podcast feed. Well, you're welcome very much. I decided to make this available, just the podcast, not the writing, decided to make it available to everybody so that you can, for two reasons. First, because I've kind of been out of the mix for the past couple of weeks with the podcasting. I've been writing like a madman, but I haven't had time to podcast for a couple of weeks, and I wanted to give the folks who follow the podcast feed something to chew on. And I also wanted to twist your arm a little bit to consider becoming a free member at firebranded.fm. Be a part of my inner circle. This will be the only exclusive podcast that I share with the public, okay? So it's the first one that I'm doing, the first exclusive podcast for my inner circle, and I'm making this available to everybody, but subsequent episodes of this inner circle edition are only going to be available to free and paid subscribers of firebranded.fm, my inner circle. All right, let's get right into it. A little too late now to say right into it, right now that I've been jabbering already. This is going to be quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read mostly what I wrote here, and then I'm going to insert my own thoughts, okay? A Vatican working group dropped a report this week called Cases for Listening. Very interesting that they use the word listening. Two of the featured testimonies came from men in same-sex civil unions, and one of them used the platform to take a swing at Courage International. If you don't know, folks, Courage International has been around for about 45 years. It's a canonically approved apostolate that walks with, walks with men and women experiencing same-sex attraction. But despite experiencing same-sex attraction, or though they experience it, they're living with this cross, they want to live the church's teaching on chastity. Okay, and Courage International is sort of a support group that helps them to do that. So these two fellas, one of them used to attend Courage International, support groups, and he said, it's terrible. Everyone there seems so depressed and sad and lonely. And also, he alleges that Courage International is basically reparative therapy, trying to ungay the gays, which is not true. So let's continue with the writing. The accusation, reparative therapy, and so on. In an official Vatican document, nobody from Courage was even contacted. So Courage was not contacted to give their point of view. Nobody asked them at all. Nobody at Courage got to respond before this document went public. Can you believe that? You would think that a Vatican document that's basically taking a baseball bat to the face of Courage International, you would think someone at the synod would contact Courage first to let them have their say. Nope, didn't happen here. This is the synodal sleight of hand, folks. Now, so the synod is supposed to be a listening body. They're supposed to be listening to input, to feedback to the faithful, from the faithful. But in this document, it's doing a lot of talking. It did some listening, and now it's doing a lot of talking, but it's using others to make statements for it. The synod doesn't have to say anything. The synod doesn't have to defend anything. The synod doesn't have to own anything. It speaks while saying nothing because it lets others do the talking for it. It gives a platform for opposition to church teaching and opposition to those who support church teaching. So it just curates the testimonies. It prints them, and it lets the so-called listening do the talking for it. How convenient. There's just a little bit more to the article. If you're subscribed to firebranded.fm, you've already got it in your inbox. If you're not, you can go to firebranded.fm, click the button on the top, or I think I even have a mail. I think I even have a form up there at the top of the page. You can drop your email in there, and you'll have access to this article. So let me give you my 2 cents. As I said, the Synod is supposed to be listening, but the Synod has its clever ways of doing a lot of talking. Sometimes you can say things by saying everything else but the one thing you're trying to say. 1, 2, 4, 5. What's missing? The 3. Because there's a 1, a 2, a 4, and a 5, logically 3 stands out because it's missing, right? It needs to be there. It needs to be in the sequence. It stands out. You're calling attention to 3 by not including it in the 1, 2, 4, 5. I see a lot of that at the Synod, not in every Synod meeting, gathering, whatever they call these, but I see a lot of it there, saying things without saying them. I see that a lot in independent Catholic media, saying things without saying them. Something else I see in this Synod report is something that I see in independent Catholic media. It goes like this. Not only will I say a thing by not saying it, but I'm going to wrap the unsaid thing in emotionalism and drama. It goes a little something like this. I'm going to let somebody else say that Courage International is a problem. It makes people very depressed and very lonely. In fact, it's telling people that they're broken by trying to fix them. That is not true. You're saying something without saying it. And what's the underlying thing that's being said here? It goes like this. There's a problem with church teaching on homosexuality. That's really what they're saying. Look at what church teaching on homosexuality does to people. Just listen to these 2 gay guys. They'll tell you. Look at what the church's teaching on homosexuality does to people. It creates organizations like the evil Courage International, who tells them that they're broken and attempts to fix them. Not true. Yes, it is true. Just listen to the testimony of these 2 gay guys. One of them actually attended Courage. Well, what did Courage have to say about it? I don't know. We never asked them. They say something without saying it. They wrap it in emotionalism. They wrap it in drama. And they leave the masses to connect the dots. Very, very clever. You see it sometimes at the Synod. You see it sometimes from clerics, really, not outside of a synodal setting. And you see it in independent Catholic media. It's rhetoric 101. If you can't say it with words, say it with testimony. And if you can't sell it with testimony, sell it with drama and emotionalism. This way, you pressurize the church at the upper echelon, and you pressurize the church down at the lower levels, at the parish level. You pressurize the church to at least effectively change church teaching, even if you can't actually, literally change it. That's what I think is going on here. It's going to fail, but it's a nice attempt. It's a really nice attempt. So that's my 2 cents. That's probably the shortest episode of Firebranded you've ever heard of in your life. And I thank you very much for taking the time to listen to it. If you're listening to this and you are not subscribed to firebranded.fm, there's something wrong with you. Please visit firebranded.fm and consider becoming a free subscriber. You know, you can read most of the stuff that I have there without becoming a subscriber, but I really hope that you choose to be part of the action, not apart from it. Be a part of my inner circle, firebranded.fm. I'm TJ Haynes, the Catholic Firebrand. God bless you. And God be with you all. Bye-bye.